Welcome, everybody. We have a very exciting and special episode for you of The Window, the International Football Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Gould, also joined by my co-host, Brandon Riff. Brandon, how are you?
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing good. Like I said, we have a special episode lined up that's all about the African Cup of Nations. This is something that both Brandon and I are very excited for. Something that we've been talking about for a while now. We're really looking forward to kind of getting into each group. And so to help us do that today, we brought in some really excellent guests. We're very excited to have 4 additional guests with us today. We're going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. So we will go ahead and start with Lotfi. Why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us about yourself briefly.
Well, my name is Lotfi. I am an African football journalist, scout, etc. I helped some clubs to sign players. I'm scouting also players, and I was also twice a member of the CAF Awards, Ballon d'Or, if you prefer, member twice in 2017, 2018, and I also elected the BBC African Player of the Year in 2017 and 2018, and I love baking, cooking, running, and also I am growing potatoes.
Oh, very good. I love it. All right. Send some of those my way. Cool. Thank you, Lotfi. We're very excited to have you. Let's go to Nuhu next. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, did we lose him? Did we lose Nuhu? Maybe we did. Okay. I'm sure he'll be back.
Journalist. I'm also working for multimedia. Yeah. So, I've been part of the CAF Electoral College before. I remember voting for the African Football of the Year in 2019. So, I'm all African football. That's what I've been doing all these years.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Let's go to Ayo next. Ayo, you're up.
Yeah, hi. I'm Ayo. I'm a media personality. I don't like to call myself a journalist because I don't necessarily look for news like they do. I like to give them their credit. I'm the founder of Eagles Tracker, the home of Nigerian footballers. It's a football platform purely focused on Nigerian footballers, keeping up with them and keeping fans interested and helping to grow the game, in the way that we can through publicity, branding, PR, and that stuff. So yeah, that's what I do.
Perfect. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, we have Mo with Senegal Football English.
Yeah, so basically I followed the national team since 2017 at the AFCON in Gabon. And ever since, just basically followed Senegalese players, the league. And just started a new account in July for just an English account. And yeah, that's basically it. Inspiring journalist. Not yet, of course, but, getting there, you could say.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. And for those of you who are not watching this on YouTube and are listening to the podcast instead, you would have a good chuckle, I think, at what everybody in the room is wearing, which is one of the things that Brandon and I like to point out on our shows oftentimes, because he and I like to dress up and stuff. So Brandon's got Senegal. He's got Senegal jersey on. I've got Nigeria. Lotfi's got Tunisia. And Ayo has Nigeria beanie. And Nuhu's got a Ghana shirt, a very nice Ghana shirt. And I can't see Mo, but Mo said he had a Senegal shirt, I guess, underneath his jacket or something. So
we've got representation across the board.
Very cool.
Yes, it's awesome. Okay, great. Well, with that, I think we're just going to go ahead and hop in. So we're going to obviously kick things off with Group A. Group A has Ethiopia, Cape Verde, Cameroon, and Burkina Faso. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go around to all of the panelists and just kind of get their thoughts on the group. And then we'll end with Brandon, and Brandon can kind of give us his predictions in terms of number crunching for how he thinks this group is going to shake out. So for Group A, let's go ahead and start with let's start with Lotfi. Go ahead. What do you think about Group A, Lotfi?
Well, the Group A is made of Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, and Cape Verde. I think I fancy personally Cameroon to overcome this group and to top this group pretty easily. Having seen Cape Verde recently, I don't find them very formidable and far from there. They are very far from the golden age in which they qualified twice for in 2013 and in 2015. They are very far from that, even though the strategy is the same of picking dual nationals or players from the diaspora. So I fancy Cameroon to finish on the top, and there will be an interesting battle between Burkina Faso. I think Burkina Faso are the second best team in the group. They will be interesting to see because they gave a very much problem to Algeria in this last match day of our World Cup qualifiers, even though they were missing much players due to injury, etc. So now they will have their full team. And I think they will have this second team, even though this second spot, even though they are very inconsistent, but I fancy them to finish second. Then you have also Ethiopia, who qualified after finishing behind Ivory Coast, a group made of Niger, Madagascar, and Ivory Coast. They managed to finish second, and I fancy them maybe to battle for the third spot, but it will be complicated because they will return and they always have difficulties to play away from home. Notably, we saw that in the recent qualifiers, either if it was the AFCON or the World Cup, they always have difficulties, but they will have nothing to lose. They play some very, I would say, naive football in a certain way. They are very free flowing, but defensively very fragile. So it will be interesting. Personally, I think Cameroon will top the group at home, especially in front of their fans, etc. And then Burkina Faso will finish second, I think.
Nuhu, what do you think?
That's an interesting group. With Cameroon being the host country, probably they are favorite to win the group. But they are not going to have it easy. I've been watching Burkina Faso. I've been watching Cape Verde. Cape Verde is having some individual players who can create a lot of problems for you when you underrate or underestimate them. We saw how they were able to hold Nigeria in the last World Cup qualifying game in Lagos. So Cape Verde is coming of age. Yes, they are not consistent, but I think they have a very good team with a very good coach in Pedro Bubista. So yeah, Cameroon will go all the way to win the group. But the second place is going to be between Burkina Faso and then Cape Verde. Burkina Faso is not convincing enough. Where you expect them to win, that's where they will disappoint. So I want to see Burkina Faso having same display in the group. So I will go Cameroon group winners, then Burkina Faso as the second, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cape Verde are able to turn things around and then finish second behind Cameroon. Then probably we'll get Ethiopia finishing bottom. Ethiopia is one country, they play very good football, they play possessive football, but they have problem with finishing. If they are able to work on their finishing, then probably they also create a lot of problems to countries like Cape Verde and then Burkina Faso. So I'm looking at 3 countries qualifying from this group, with one of them qualifying as one of the best third place teams. So Cameroon, Burkina Faso, then Cape Verde.
All right, leaving Ethiopia in the dark, eh? No worries. I don't disagree with you there, actually. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's do Ayo. What do you have any thoughts on this group?
Yeah, so just like they've both said, I would also pick Cameroon to win the group in front of their home fans. Also on paper, they have the strongest side of these 4 national teams. Burkina Faso would also want to be my choice for second, but I just want to give Cape Verde a little bit of credit. Like Nuhu mentioned, I'm a Nigerian. I watched them hold us in Lagos. Lagos is supposed to be one of those places where we Nigerians like to feel very strong and feel very good. And for Cape Verde to come and hold us, and to be fair, they nearly beat us, if not for a 90th minute block by Ndidi, we might not even be in the World Cup playoffs, So I give some credit to them, and I believe that if their coach gets them working well, against other African sides, they have a good chance of maybe finishing second. Ethiopia is not really a very strong team on paper, but I mean, they also held Nuhu's Ghana in the World Cup qualifiers not too long ago. So maybe they can turn up on the day. Personally, it's one of the reasons why I like tournament football, because regardless of how good you are on paper, it depends on how you perform on that day. And on any given day, if the Cameroonian players don't turn up, if the Cape Verdeans don't turn up, or the Burkina Faso players don't turn up, then Ethiopia can take their chance, So I would say Cameroon to win, Burkina Faso second, and Cape Verde third. But I think that we can be in for a shock here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Ethiopia, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ethiopia tends to have a team that's made up of a lot of local players, right? I don't know if they have a lot of players that are participating in, European leagues, at least not players that I'm too familiar with, but yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to add, they just launched their new kits for the AFCON today, and there are 3 kits and they're beautiful, so you guys should check them out.
Oh, Ethiopia did? Okay, yeah, definitely have to check that out. Lotfi, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, in Ethiopia side, I think they have a player which who should be watched carefully, because he has attracted interest over the last, thanks to his heroics in the league. It's Abubakar Nasir, who is quite a man who does everything in front. He can play winger, he can play striker, he can play on the other wing also. So he will be, I think, the attraction of Ethiopia, because they have players who are very quick with the ball, very agile and very skilled. And I think he played against Ghana in the last international break when they played, and he caused them much problems. And they have also Getane Kebe there up front, with their evergreen bomber up front, and who is always there. And it will be interesting because they don't have a very defensive style. So maybe they will give a good image. They won't be negative football, etc. They will be they have a good passing, etc. So maybe they won't have a good result, but they won't be boring to watch. I predict personally.
And that was Abubakar Nasir. Is that the player?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Good shout. One to watch. Let's bring in Mo real quick. Mo, did you have some thoughts on Group A at all?
Just want a quick mention of Cape Verde, because Senegal played them in a friendly last June, and I thought they were very, very impressive, especially players like Gary Rodriguez of Olympiacos. They kind of have a chance, I feel like, in this group, although Burkina Faso were very impressive as well in World Cup qualifying. And now, just like Nuhu said, I believe, they're going to have much more of their starting players available, like Edmund Tapsoba of Leverkusen and Bertrand Traore, Aston Villa. So it's going to be really, really tight between those two. I think Cameroon's definitely a cut above the rest, especially with the pressure of playing at home. But I might just give it to Burkina Faso to finish second in this group. But definitely Cape Verde as one of the best third place sides, surely. And kind of leaving Ethiopia at the dust.
Joe, I think we're all aligned here. I know that we talked about the Nigeria Cape Verde match on our review podcast the last time out, and we both thought that Cape Verde played very well, easily could have won and progressed through World Cup qualifying. So it'll be interesting. They haven't been to the Africa Cup of Nations since 2015, so the last couple editions they've missed out. So they're out of World Cup qualifying. I think that they could play a little bit inspired. This is, a big tournament for them to kind of get back and prove something that, they can still do it.
Yeah. One of the things I love about the African Cup of Nations is that there always seems to be a lot of emerging talents that come from this tournament as well. One of the names that I've been keeping an eye on, he's having a really standout season in Germany, and he plays for Burkina Faso, is Edmund Tapsoba. He's performing very well for Bayer Leverkusen. And so he's definitely on my watch list for this tournament. And I'm hoping that, he has a good run out. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I think, Brandon, did you want to give your predictions?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the numbers, at least from our perspective, align pretty well with what everyone was saying. We definitely favor Cameroon to win the group. We give them about a 96% chance to advance. They don't even need to finish in the top two. They're playing at home. So we think they're going to make it through. And we actually agree. Think both Burkina Faso and Cape Verde are going to make it through. One is second place, one is third place. I think Ethiopia is going to struggle a bit in this group. I just don't think they're the same level of class as the other three. So we're favoring Cameroon, Burkina Faso, and Cape Verde to all make it out of this group.
All right, perfect. That wraps up Group A. Let's move on to Group B. So in Group B, we have Senegal, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Guinea. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start with Mo, since this is his cake. So Mo, tell us your thoughts. So you got Senegal in this group. That's your cup of tea. How do you think they're going to do? And as well as the rest of the group.
Yeah, I'll start with the rest of the group. All teams relatively are on pretty poor form, especially Zimbabwe and Guinea, since they went winless in their World Cup qualifying groups. And Malawi only picked up 3 points, but you kind of expect that since they're minnows. Obviously our squad is, one of the strongest in the tournament, and a minimum of 7 points, maybe dropping points to Guinea, something like that. Another quick note on Guinea is that they actually replaced their manager, Didier Six, after that really, really bad World Cup qualifying, when they picked up only 4 points, something like that, really, really bad. And they replaced them with Kabi Diawara, a former player of theirs. And obviously we know they have decent players like Naby Keita and Ilax Mariba, but they also have a player, Mohamed Bayo, who for Clermont in France this season has 9 goals in 17 league games, and also have a couple of decent players like Seydou Sow of Saint-Etienne, Mohamed Kamara of Young Boys, and I believe Agibu Kamara of Olympiacos is attracting some interest, I believe what Nuhu said yesterday, from big teams like Real Madrid across Europe. So, I mean, yeah, this should be a relatively straightforward group. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Guinea Derby. We haven't played them in a competitive game since 2006, so that should be fun. But relatively, we should top the group. And if we top the group, we go what I'll describe later as the easier part of the bracket if other groups go to plan as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, I'll save my thoughts for later. Let's go to Nuhu. Nuhu, what do you think about Group B?
Group B should be easy for Senegal. I think they are miles above all the teams there. Yeah, Guinea are having 1 or 2 players who can create a lot of problems for Senegal. But Senegal, from goalkeeping to the last department of their team, they have a solid team. Look at the squad, and you realize Senegal are one of the favorites to win the African Cup of Nations. So if you are one of the favorites, Zimbabwe, Malawi shouldn't be a match. If you look at Zimbabwe, they are losing a lot of players. Kamabiliat has retired. Marvelous Nakama is injured, it's not coming. Masha Monechi is also not coming. Brendan Galloway is injured, he's not coming. Tendai Darikwa has excused himself from the team. So Zimbabwe is coming with a depleted, and we saw them in the World Cup qualifiers. Very, very shambolic. So Zimbabwe shouldn't be a match. Malawi shouldn't be a match. The only team that can cause few troubles for Senegal is Guinea. But that one, they will try their best, but still Senegal will welcome them. So it should be an easy one for Senegal. I think Guinea should be able to also do away with Zimbabwe and then Malawi. Then we see if Zimbabwe and Malawi can prove anything. But the first 2 teams should be Senegal and Guinea. But one thing that is quite interesting and might happen is that you remember Malawi in 2010 World Cup. In the 2010 African Cup of Nations, their first game was against Algeria, and they beat Algeria 3-1. Pierre was in charge of that team. So maybe we are going to see Malawi shock one of the big teams in this group, but still they can't qualify.
Boy, that would definitely make things interesting, wouldn't it? Holy cow. I love it. All right, perfect. Thanks, Nuhu. Let's go next to Lotfi. I'm sure he wants to talk about his hometown hero, Mohamed Bayo.
Yeah, as you perfectly remarked, as the two previous panelists remarked, I fancy personally Senegal to march on this group pretty easily, even if they are not very exciting to watch. I think have such quality in the squad that they will march, even I would say to the quarters at least. They will counter adversity there. I think they will march on this group pretty easily, and the rest of the three teams will fight for the two spots. I think because when you talked about Guinea, they have such for instance, a midfielder. They can field the Moriba who just committed to them from Leipzig. He was formed at Barcelona. They have Naby Keita. They have Mohamed Madi Camara also, who was playing at Olympiacos. They have such players, but they are very inconsistent. And I think we all saw that during this last World Cup campaign, and even worse, during the AFCON campaign, in which they were horrible. I saw the game, for instance, against Chad, the double header. They were abysmal. Even if they changed, that their coach, they were pretty abysmal. They also have Amadou Diawara, let's not forget him. They were abysmal, and that's why they are stacked with talent, notably in the midfield. Yet they play very poorly, and it's very sad. Let's hope the arrival of Kaba Diawara, who knows, he knows everything in the country, etc., could bring a bit of order and fulfill the potential which is present in the team. Because when you have such players, you have to make decent results. And for Malawi and Zimbabwe, I wasn't aware that Zimbabwe were going to miss such an amount of players, notably Munetsi, which is who is doing pretty well at Rennes. So I think it will be Guinea have everything to finish second, but and Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe aren't even sure to take part to AFCON because FIFA gave them a deadline until the 3rd of January to reinstore their federation, because it has been dissolved by the sports ministry, Christy Coventry. So if Zimbabwe doesn't comply to the orders of FIFA, their participation to AFCON is pretty much in limbo, if I can say. So we don't know, and add to that, they will be very depleted, as Nuhu said. So it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see, and maybe they won't fulfill again because they have a good style of football, etc. A bit like Ethiopia. So it will be sad. Logically, it will be a sad exit, and you have also. Yes, Zimbabwe, Senegal, Malawi, and Guinea. I think Malawi are there also they are preparing in Saudi Arabia. They are leaving no stones unturned in certain way, because they are preparing in Saudi Arabia. They will have two friendlies. I think one pretty soon in this week. So they are there like a bit. Those teams. Like Ethiopia, they are there without much pressure in a certain way, so we'll see what will happen. They eliminated, they qualified a bit surprisingly, they eliminated Uganda were in the group. They eliminated them in the last match day. So they are there without much pressure. So I fancy personally, logically, Senegal will march on this group. Obviously, they are miles ahead, as said my brother Nuhu. And who knows for the rest, for the second spot, who knows what can happen, because as explained by the two previous panelists and by myself, there are plenty factors which make this second spot pretty undecided.
Perfect. Ayo, thoughts?
Yeah. I'll be very quick with this one. Since these guys have pretty much covered everything. I'm someone that I personally always like to look for potential shocks and potential disappointments. And unfortunately, I don't see one happening in Group B. I think Senegal will very easily win this group. Judging based on the quality of the players in their team, and also the recent form of the opponents, it's just tough to see anything not going in Senegal's favor. Guinea would be my choice to finish second, because I would say they probably have the next best team. But I would also be interested in seeing the kind of competition that Malawi can put up. it will be, I would personally like to see Malawi finish second, but I think it all depends on how they start the tournament against Guinea, their first game. If they can beat Guinea in the first game, then it would leave the Guinean players a little bit nervy. It would inspire some confidence in Malawi, and then it's all to play for in the other two games. But I think if they drop the first one against Guinea, then they even will start to doubt themselves and start to doubt their chances, and it becomes tougher from there. Yeah.
Perfect. Brandon?
Yeah, similar to Io, not going to add much. I think we're pretty much all aligned here that Senegal, if they don't win the group, people are going to be really shocked. I think that would be a huge surprise to see them not win the group. We give them a higher chance to win the group than any team in the tournament, at about 80%. But after that, I think it does get a bit interesting. I think all three of Zimbabwe, Guinea, Malawi, all have a chance to finish second in the group. We do also favor Guinea, but they're a team that has continually disappointed us. As Lotfi said previously, they're not a team that's devoid of talent. They have a lot of players that have big name recognition, but the team just hasn't really delivered. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see that again in this tournament where Guinea ends up outside of that top two. This is a group we think doesn't send three teams through to the round of 16. So we think whoever finishes third in this group is actually going to be eliminated. So I think there's, Senegal to me, it looks like the clear favorite, but I think it'll be a really good battle between the other three to see who ends up advancing.
Excellent. Great. Let us then hop down to Group C, since Senegal seems to have Group B covered. Group C contains Ghana, Morocco, Gabon, and Comoros. So we're going to start with Nuhu, Ghana being probably his, I think his native country and also his place of expertise. So Nuhu, take it away. Group C, what do you think?
Well, Group C is also another interesting group. Ghana had the opportunity to play Morocco in a friendly recently, and Ghana lost 1-0 in Rabat. But I think Ghana is not convincing enough. Ghana is always there when we talk of countries that are favored to win the African Cup of Nations. But Ghana is not convincing. Yes, we qualified for the World Cup playoffs, but looking at our performance, the belief is not there. We want to see something quite different at the Cup of Nations. Maybe after the first two games, we can have some hope in the team. But the one right is trying to build a solid team for Ghana in the next few weeks. But looking at the opposition in the group, I think Ghana will qualify, but will not have it easy. Ghana against Morocco is a game. You cannot stick your neck out to say Ghana will beat Morocco. Yeah, because Morocco is in great form. In the African Cup of Nations qualifiers, they conceded only one goal. In the World Cup qualifiers, they won every single game. So they are in such a great form. So to beat Morocco, you have to double up effort from whatever you've been doing before you can overcome them. Comoros Islands, I think Ghana had the opportunity to play them in the prelims of the World Cup qualifiers 2014 or so. We beat them 2-0 in Ghana, but we were very fortunate that when we went to Comoros, their only goal didn't stand. It was a perfect goal, but the referee disallowed. So Comoros would have beaten Ghana in that game. So Comoros, having most of their players coming from France, having some of them playing in the Ligue 1 and the Ligue 2, probably there's no way you can underrate them. They also have this striker who has been very, very solid for them in qualifiers. El Faldo Ben Mohamed, he plays for Red Star Belgrade in Serbia. He's been playing in the Europa League, he's been playing in the UEFA Champions League. So I think he's not going to fear anything when he faces the defenders of Ghana and Morocco. So Comoros, I will not underrate them. They have Faiz Elimarani, who is also doing great in Belgium for KV Kortrijk. So they have some decent players. Yes, maybe the coach will not be able to come up with a team that will have a solid defense. But with the individuals they are having, if you are Ghana, you allow them, then they will punish you. Gabon, one of the teams that also have talent, but can't use the talent. They have Jim Alevina coming from Lotfi's hometown team, Clermont. He's been doing extremely well. But when they come to the national team, they find things very difficult. Dennis Buyanga also doing so well for Saint-Etienne. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has always been there. I think he's the most experienced player in the squad now. He played in the 2010 African Cup of Nations. So to have Aubameyang still there, he has the experience to psych the other players that, yes, there is the Cup of Nations, we can beat any teams. But I want to see something different from Patrice's review from what we've seen Gabon do in the previous tournament. But for the Gabon I know, and looking at the World Cup qualifiers, Gabon is not convincing enough to say they can dislodge Ghana from qualifying from this group. So if you ask me, I would say Morocco to top the group, Ghana second, and then the third place will be between Gabon and Comoros Islands. But as I said, Ghana is going to have every game very tough. No game will be easy for the Black Stars.
So Nuhu, just can you tell us somebody on the Ghanaian team, and I should have done this for Senegal earlier as well, but who do you think is going to have a breakthrough tournament for Ghana?
Well, already we are having Kamal Din Sulemana playing for Stade Rennais. He has been sensational this season for running the Ligue 1. He was man of the match against Paris Saint-Germain. He's played some good football against top sides in the Ligue 1. I think he played also against Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa Conference League, and he was on top of his form. If he's going to get that kind of form, then Kamaldeen Sulemana is going to do the trick for us. Mohamed Kudus has been amazing for Black Stars since he started playing, but it's quite unfortunate that we might not have him at African Cup of Nations because of an injury he's carrying. So we want to see if he's fit to go then. Mohamed Kudus is also going to be a key player for the Black Stars. But as you know, Thomas Partey is our main man. If Partey is in his groove, the team gets going. So I want to see more from Thomas Partey too, and then probably Ghana will get one of the best performances in this tournament. If Ghana is able to advance, that's where the confidence and everything will start coming, and then Ghana will try as much as possible to go in for the ultimate. The coach has been tasked to win the African Cup of Nations, or he will be sacked. So that's quite an uphill task for the coach and the players. So they know what is at stake, and I know they are equally preparing for that.
Perfect. Yeah, I think.
Just wanted to jump in and ask. Sorry, Joe.
No,
do you
fine.
expect Afena to play much? I know he's an exciting young talent, and had an amazing game with Roma here. So do you think he's going to get much run this tournament?
Yeah, Afena is not coming. His agent
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, his camp or his management is saying he's not ready for national team football.
Okay.
They still believe he still needs some time to pick up at AS Roma. He just got the opportunity to be in the first team of AS Roma. So they think he still needs some time before he can join the national team. So Afena is not coming. If he was to come, I think he was going to be one of the players to watch.
Right.
Yeah, I saw he was in the provisional squad. I didn't realize that he was not coming. So appreciate that.
Yeah, I like Morocco in this group to finish first, and then Ghana, and then Gabon, and then I think Comoros will probably come in third, but or fourth. Sorry. Let's go to Ayo. What do you think about Group C in like 30 seconds to a minute?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Like I said earlier, I am someone that I like to look for potential shocks. Or I don't know, maybe it's because I'm Nigerian, but this is the group where I think Ghana might finish third. I'm not saying Ghana wouldn't qualify. I still think even if they finish third, they will qualify. But I think Morocco will win the group. And I just want to believe that Gabon maybe can shock Ghana, and finish second in the group. Like I said, I might just be Nigerian and, we just always want Ghana to lose. But I think we might have a little bit of a shock here. Regardless, I think Ghana have a very strong team. Like I cannot take away the quality of players that they have across the board. But the Gabon team, with Aubameyang, with Lamina, and with a few other players that they have, I'm just, I think they have the potential to maybe pull off a shocking one. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's go to Mo. Mo, what do you think? Nuhu wants to say something to that. I know he does. He's got a smile on his face.
Yeah, I mean, the main problem with Gabon is consistency. I mean, their game against Libya in their very first game of World Cup qualifying, they're really, really bad. I mean, they couldn't string 2 passes together. But then their very next game against Egypt, they're much better. And they somehow dropped 2 points against 10-man Egypt with like 30 seconds to go. So just based on consistency from Gabon, I think Ghana surely should at least finish second in this group. Morocco are just, for me, Morocco are one of the 4 favorites for the tournament. So definitely should at least get 7 points out of their possible 9. And Comoros, up-and-coming minnows team, I don't think it's their tournament yet. And yeah, Gabon, they might finish as one of the best third-place teams, or they might finish bottom, because consistency is just the main issue for Gabon at the moment.
And before we go to Lotfi, this is the debut in this tournament for Comoros. Is that correct?
It is.
Yes. They are making their debut. Yeah.
Lotfi, what do you think?
Well, I think I agree I think they all said everything. I just wanted to add that this group, and notably the game for Morocco against Ghana, it will be Morocco's first real test since the last AFCON in 2019. Let's be clear, because they have played all their games, whether when it came to the World Cup qualifiers, they have all played them against at home, and even the 2019 qualifiers, they were paired in a very easy group. So it will be their first real test, this Ghana group, and it will be interesting to see in this Ghana group. It will be interesting to see for Morocco how they will fare, and for Comoros, I think it will be personally either this edition or the next. It will be the twilight of a generation, because when you see this generation, which has been put in place in, let's say, in 2014, something like this, they started to take part to qualifiers, etc. They were always close, but they finally made it last year. So it will be the twilight, and it will be interesting to see. So, and concerning Gabon, well, Gabon are very inconsistent. They are marred with problems, whether it's in or outside the field. So I think Morocco, and it will be interesting to see how Morocco and will fare against Ghana, said. And I fancy Ghana to go through, even if they have been pretty uninspiring also, whether if it's for the AFCON qualifiers or qualifiers recently, even against South Africa.
Yeah, this is a really, sorry, Brandon, this is a really fun group. There's lots of talent in this group. I mean, we haven't really even touched on the Morocco team, but yeah. I mean, the team is completely stacked. I mean, I remember, I think it was in November, maybe it was either November or the October window for World Cup qualifying that, Ilyas Chaer scored just such a sensational goal for Morocco in their qualifying. It was fantastic. So, I mean, they've got a lot of really good talents that are coming through. Lots to look forward to. Again, Nuhu already touched on it. Ghana looks, very exciting. And then Gabon has some talents as well. And even the Comoros. So this is a very exciting group. Brandon.
Yeah, I think, Lotfi makes a good point about Morocco, and that even when they're away, they're at home. They played all their World Cup qualifying matches, in Morocco. I'm just looking back since that, July 2019 timeframe, they've only played 3 matches away from home, and it's against Mauritania, who's at this tournament, Central African Republic, and Burundi. So they have not been tested at all away from home in 2.5 years. So they are absolutely, stacked with talent. We still favor them to win the group, but it'll be interesting to see how they perform on this stage. They haven't really been tested like this in a very long time. After Morocco, I think, Ghana, Gabon, I think both teams, easily could finish second in this group. I think they could easily win this group depending on how Morocco plays. So I think they're all in play. We like both Ghana and Gabon and Morocco as well to advance out of this group, whether, in whatever order they finish. We think whoever finishes third out of this group is going to advance. And Comoros, I wouldn't count them out. It is their first tournament, but they're not, I would say, at the level of some of the other teams that we've discussed, we will discuss. They're not going to be a pushover. They're going to be a tough team. So ultimately, we think Comoros finishes last, but they're going to be tough. This is a tough group.
Yes, if I can add to what Brandon said, I absolutely and totally agree with the fact that Comoros won't be pushovers, because I think we all saw their results against bigger oppositions in the last years, since they put in place this generation. They lost they lost at the last minute against Morocco in the 2017 qualifiers, 2019 qualifiers, if I'm not wrong. They drew against Egypt. They recorded some very interesting results. They weren't the punching balls they were in the past. So I absolutely agree with Brandon in the fact that they won't be pushovers. Then they will give much problems. I think with Gabon they can definitely nick a win against Gabon, because the teams have pretty much the same level. And so yes, I absolutely agree with that they won't be pushovers at all. Maybe they will finish with 0 points or whatever, but in the content, I absolutely fancy them to give much problems to the three teams. I fancy them to do that.
Perfect. Oh, very exciting. I wish it started tomorrow, man. I'm so pumped. All right. Let's go down to Group D. Group D has Nigeria, Egypt, Sudan, and Guinea Bissau. And this is also another very loaded group, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off with Io. So what do you think, Mr. Eagles Tracker? Tell us.
Yeah. Nigeria. I would say it's a toss of the coin between us and Egypt to win this group. I'm not going to be arrogant like most Nigerians and just say that we're the best and we're going to win. I'll be honest, the Egyptian side is really good. They play very well together because they are familiar with each other. Most of them play in their local league. In fact, most of them play in the same club, Al Ahly. So they know each other very well. And looking at the Nigerian side, we just sacked our manager, hired a new manager, then hired another new manager. So it's really interesting to see how our team is going to set up. I'll be honest, like 6 months ago, I was very excited for Nigeria at the AFCON. I'm less excited right now, just because I know how these distractions can affect, the results on the field. But I still believe that we have enough quality in our squad to win the group. But it's going to be a toss of the coin. It all depends on the first game, January 11th. If we beat Egypt, I think we'll win the group. If Egypt beat us, then I think they'll win the group. Looking at Sudan, I think Sudan will finish bottom of this group. I don't rate them highly. No offense to any Sudanese people. They were terrible at the Arab Cup, and their World Cup qualifying wasn't impressive. Their AFCON qualifying, even though the tournaments obviously they qualified, but I don't think it was so impressive either. They beat South Africa, but I don't think it was so impressive. So I'm not really expecting much from the Sudanese. I think they'll finish bottom of the group. Guinea Bissau are the team that I think will be the dark horse in our group. I think if Nigeria, I don't think they'll beat Egypt, but I think they have the potential to upset Nigeria. And this is just based on our recent performances, recent results. We've seen, just like I mentioned earlier, we were literally an Ndidi block away from losing to Cape Verde. That before the game, Nigerians thought we'll go and smash Cape Verde like 4-0 or something. Our players tend to make some silly errors in crucial moments. Our center backs especially can lose concentration in key moments. And, if Guinea-Bissau come and they hold us, and they score a 90th-minute goal, then anything is possible. So I would say Guinea-Bissau, Mame Balde, Jorginho, and a few other players, Mendes, that they have in their team, I think have the potential to shock Nigeria. Not shock Egypt, shock Nigeria. As a Nigerian, I want us to finish first. I believe Egypt will finish second, but I think it's a toss of the coin.
Now, Io, I saw this morning, I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw that Osimhen tested positive for COVID. So is he out or do you know?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Yes, Napoli announced that he tested positive for COVID, and I spoke with Omar Katuba as well earlier. In fact, I was on the phone for like an hour with Omar Katuba just before I joined this podcast that we're on right now, and we were discussing Victor Osimhen as well. So Osimhen is currently in Lagos. He's currently in Lagos, and he was supposed to travel back to Naples today to do his checkup with the team doctor. And I guess when he did his pre-departure COVID test in Lagos, he tested positive. Here's my take on the whole thing. You have to isolate for 10 days. He's already in Lagos. If he does 10 days isolation in Lagos, as soon as he's done, then he can join the team camp in Abuja. So I don't see why he shouldn't go to the AFCON, based on this COVID test. But already, we've seen that Napoli have been trying to do everything that they possibly can to hold him back, And one of the agreements that Nigeria had with Napoli earlier was that Nigeria will make sure that Osimhen is medically given the all clear before they play him. So with this COVID situation stopping him from going back to Naples for his scan, I fear that Napoli can try to say, well, he hasn't gotten the medical all clear, so, he shouldn't. And we already agreed that we'll ensure he gets the all clear before we play him. So if Napoli really try to play that card, then maybe they can hold him back. But it's going to be tough. I would say if Osimhen doesn't go, though, Emmanuel Dennis is scoring a lot of goals for Watford. So I will want to say that Nigerians should still have some faith and have some confidence. We have a lot of talented forwards in our team right now. So whilst we know Victor is our star boy, he's the future of Nigeria, there's still adequate cover, So yeah, it's for me, it's really about what the coach can do with these players, because talent-wise, there's no doubt that they're a talented bunch. It's just about performing well as a team, because recent results haven't been impressive.
Yeah, and on that vein, and sorry to take more time, but on that vein, do you think that the new coach is going to be able to bring everybody together and kind of get them to perform like I think everybody expects Nigeria to perform?
So the coach leading the team to the AFCON is Augustine Vaughan. They hired Pesero yesterday, but he's only coming as an observer for the AFCON. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm a Nigerian, I know how Nigeria works. They say he's an observer, but yeah, he's going to be coaching. He might not be on the touchline, but he's going to be giving his inputs, What I will say is Vaughan, who is leading the team, is the former Super Eagles coach. He's managed the team before, not the same players, but back in 2016, and I think even in 2006, he was also the head coach. He's also a former captain. He played for us at the Olympics, played for us at the World Cup. He's a legend for Nigeria. So all these players have that innate respect for him just because of what he's already done, when he was in their position. As far as coaching, I'll be honest, the man is a little bit of a throwback when it comes to coaching. He enjoys his 4-4-2. He just wants to run down the wings. And that's not necessarily how, these players play today. In the Nigerian team, for example, we don't necessarily have anybody that wants to run down the wings and play cross. They're more likely to cut into the box and then find a shot, So I honestly, I wish I could tell you I knew how the team was going to look, but I'm just as lost as the rest of you. As a Nigerian, I'm hoping for the best because I want my team to go there and win. I want my team to go there and win.
Sure.
But my confidence isn't sky high like it should be.
Perfect. Thanks. All right. So I know that we're coming up on time for some of you. So if you have to hop off, feel free. That's not an issue. But if you want to stay on, we certainly welcome it because this is absolutely sensational. So if with that, we'll go over to Lotfi next. Lotfi, do you have some thoughts on Group D?
Well, I said Eagle Striker, I think Nigeria and Egypt will finish first and second. The order will be determined by the game, I think. Personally, I'm more focused on the last two, the Sudan and Guinea Bissau, because they are not familiar faces. They are not the most glamorous faces in African football. And we have seen, as said perfectly, Eagle Striker, that Sudan, they qualified after beating South Africa in a decider in the last match day in Omdurman. They qualified, but since then they have been falling a fall which was absolutely unexpected, because one thought that this qualification after almost the last qualification was in 2012. It was almost 10 years that they didn't play AFCON. One thought that this qualification would make, would unite the nation and the national team actually, but the contrary totally happened. They have been in an absolute free fall since then. Their World Cup campaign has been awful, even though they played, I think, one game at home. I think it was against Guinea Bissau, their opponent of the group. But in the display, they have been awful. And even at Arab Cup, they have really awful too. So yes, they have been in a free fall, although, this return under the leadership of Herbert Velud, which has been fired just after this Arab Cup disastrous campaign. We all thought that it would be the return of a Sudanese national team at a decent level, but it has been the contrary happened, and now they are falling, and they have appointed a sort of triumvirate at the head of the national team. And as I tweeted, I think they will play some very, as I call it, patriotic football. They will be very defensive. They will be very physical. As it's the case every time. So I fancy them to play like this. And to give you an idea about how they are feeling, they are playing the national team anthem before every single training session since the beginning of their preparation of their preps for AFCON. So I think it sums up perfectly that we will see a patriotic football. But they have an attacker who is the star of the team, definitely. Mohamed Abdurrahman, who is an excellent striker. He was one of the reasons why they qualified for the AFCON in itself. And then concerning Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Bissau are starting since 2017, they are starting, to integrate the African football landscape. In 2017, they qualified for AFCON, the last 16 team AFCON. In 2019, they qualified, in 2019. And if they had just a bit of more intent against Benin, they would have qualified for the qualifiers, because for the knockout stages, because I think they ended with three draws or something like this, or two draws, something like this. But with more intent, they would have beaten Benin. But anyway, so yes, I think Guinea-Bissau are slowly but surely imposing themselves in the African landscape, thanks to this a bit, which it's a bit similar, a policy which is a bit similar. They are focused on their diaspora in Europe, which is immense, notably in Portugal, and now they will logically, if the paperwork is done at time, they will poach in a certain way Edgar Ye, who is playing at Trabzonspor. He has agreed to play for Guinea-Bissau. He will join them for the AFCON, and he will be a major boot in the central defense. And they are cementing their position, and this project is interesting in a certain way, and is masking the fact that they don't have a league. So they are putting their entire energy, the FA is putting their entire energy there, and it's bearing its fruit since 2016 with this 2017 with this qualifying. And let's hope now that they show more intent, because they have talent, as said Eagle Striker. They have some players who are playing in France. They have in the midfield, they have Alpha Semedo, who is at Reading also, if correct me if I'm not wrong, who is pretty good also. He's controlling midfielder. So I think those Guinea-Bissau, I hope that this time they will play with more intent, because they have the quality in itself to go to the round of 16 and put and it would be kind of crowning those progresses we have seen since 2016, because a bit like Mauritania, in the past, they were in the abysses of African football.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can I just say something to Lotfi's point? And the reason why I give Guinea-Bissau a bit of respect, and why I say I believe they have the potential to upset Nigeria, is because I even looking at their fixtures, say since 2019 till now, even the games that they've lost, they don't concede a lot of goals. Except I think against Morocco they conceded 5. Yeah. But other than that, they don't concede that many goals. And from a Nigerian perspective, one thing that we've done is we've struggled to score goals. In as much as we have all these talented forwards, we've struggled to really create chances, especially when the team comes and sits back against us. So the way I just look at it is, if we struggle to score goals at the AFCON, like I already said, we tend to be shaky in defense, at certain moments. So that's where my fear comes in a little bit, that these guys have the quality to find, just that one moment that they need. And if they beat us 1-0, it's a tournament. It counts for a lot.
And they have also a Piketty, who is becoming Ronaldo 2002 World Cup when he wears the Guinea Bissau shirt, by the
way. Perfect. All right, so let's go to Mo and then Nuhu and then Brandon, just kind of wrap up Group D. Any final thoughts on the group, starting with Mo?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. One of Egypt or Nigeria is going to top the group. I mean, Egypt right now on their color schemes have been very, very impressive. I thought they were really good at the Arab Cup. Maybe it might be a bit too soon for Egypt to be as one of the big hitters for this AFCON. Nigeria, great squad, kind of like almost, you could put them in a similar pool with maybe Gabon and Cape, not really Cape Verde, but, really good quality players, but just haven't gotten the best out of them. With the players that they had, you see their squad list, they should be one of the favorites. But if you ask many people, I can't consider Nigeria as one of the big heavy favorites to win the AFCON. But they should probably top their group. It's going to come down to Nigeria, Egypt. Comes third, probably Guinea Bissau, solely because Sudan have been absolutely just really, really bad ever since they qualified for the AFCON in March. They're really bad at the Arab Cup and they're really, really bad in the World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, should probably be one of Egypt or Nigeria. I hope Egypt finish second though, just so we can have Algeria, Egypt in around the 16. That will be something.
You want a civil war? You want your warmonger, my friend.
Perfect. Nuhu?
Yeah, this should be an easy group to predict. Nigeria, Egypt going through to the next round of the competition. There's no way Nigeria and Egypt will lose to Guinea Bissau or Sudan. The only best thing Guinea Bissau can do is at least get a draw against Nigeria or Egypt. If they're able to beat Sudan, that will give Guinea Bissau a bit of hope that they can at least get qualification to the round of 16 or the knockout stages for the very first time since they make their debut in 2017. As Lotfi said, they have very good players. They are doing so well with their clubs in Europe. Some of them are in the League A. Mama Samba Balde playing for Troyes, doing so well. Morito Kasama is also playing for Stade Reims in the French League A. Jorginho and Tima, Alpha Semedo in the Portuguese League is doing quite well. So with this kind of players, if they are able to get a win against Sudan, that is going to spur them on. And then the matches against Nigeria and then Egypt, they try to get at least 1 point from the two games. They will qualify to the next round of the competition. So I think I want to see Nigeria top the group, Egypt second, then Guinea-Bissau third. Sudan are that bad. They considered 10 goals in 3 games at the FIFA Arab Cup. That's why they sacked their coach, Ruben Velu. But I'm not going to see anything different from what Vaughan is going to do for the Sudanese team. They are that bad. I don't expect them to get even a point in this group. If they're able to get 1 point from this group, I'll be very, very shocked. They lost at home 4-2 to Guinea-Bissau. So I think Guinea-Bissau should be able to beat Sudan once again. So this should be an easy one. Nigeria first, Egypt second, Guinea-Bissau third, Sudan last with 0 points.
I'm sorry, I just want to say, Nuhu, I love the confidence that you have in Nigeria as a Ghanaian.
Yeah. So before you go, Brandon, just real quick, I did want to say one of the players that I intend to watch, and I don't know how many runouts he's going to get during the tournament, but Omar Marmoush for Egypt. He plays for Stuttgart in Germany. He's having a very good season there as well. He's a very exciting player in my mind, and he's definitely one that I'm keeping my eyes on for Egypt.
Yeah, just add to Io's point, if you're not watching visually, you're listening. Nuhu actually just changed his Ghana kit into a Nigeria kit. So he is. No, I'm just joking. But same as what the rest of the panel said. Nigeria, Egypt. We think they're going to finish in some order 1-2. We actually give a slight edge to Egypt here, but wouldn't be surprised either way. Nigeria, you never know what to expect. Like I could see them coming out, beating Egypt, and then drawing against Sudan. I don't think that will happen, but if that did, I don't think you would be surprised with that team. But yeah, Nigeria, Egypt both should in some order finish 1-2. I think Mo made a good point. If Egypt finishes second, if Algeria finishes first in Group E, which we'll talk about shortly, you could end up with an Algeria-Egypt match in the round of 16. Guinea Bissau, I think they're kind of we project them to finish third, but we think they'll probably be right around that threshold of do they qualify for the round of 16 as one of the best third place teams or not. I think it depends on their match against Sudan. If they beat Sudan, they probably are going to be able to sneak into that group of third place finishers that ends up progressing. If they draw against Sudan, it's probably unlikely that they're going to make it through.
Perfect. All right. That was great. Let's hop down next to Group E. We've got 2 groups left. Thanks to everybody for hanging on with us. We really appreciate it. Group E, Algeria, Sierra Leone, Equatorial Guinea, and Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. So, this is a very interesting group to me as well. I think Algeria and Ivory Coast are probably the 2 teams that a lot of people think are going to finish 1-2. Algeria is a very strong team. Ivory Coast is strong as well, although they just got knocked out by Cameroon from World Cup qualifying, which I think was a surprise to me, at least. I did not expect Cameroon to come on top of that. Lots to delve into here. So let's actually go ahead and start with Lotfi. What do you think about Group E?
Well, I think it's evident and it's clear as crystal that there are 2 arch favorites in this group, and that the header between them will determine who will top the group. I hope that Algeria will finish first to avoid a civil war with Egypt, obviously, or even worse, by the way. But jokes aside, I think Algeria are coming to this AFCON with a lot of confidence. They haven't lost a game since almost 3 years. It will make if they go all the way. They have just been crowned Arab champions in a final against their rivals Tunisia. So their players are in their best forms, etc. They are in their best age, also they are in their best years. So I think they are arriving in Cameroon, and they will arrive in Cameroon full of confidence. And I think they will top this group, or they will face. They will definitely qualify for round of 16. For Ivory Coast, I am disappointed by Ivory Coast. I would say since 2015. By the way, since 2015, I haven't seen Ivory Coast putting a decent performance, a collective performance of a good quality against a decent opponent since 2015, and this run to their second star. They have been eliminated, and they have been falling since then. Let's be honest, they have failed to qualify for the last 2 World Cups, either in 2018 or in 2022, and even their last outings in AFCONs were awful. Let's not forget that in 2017 they were eliminated in groups, and in 2019 they were eliminated in the round of 16 against the next winners, Algeria. So let's be honest, they are stacked with talent. They have also a marvel, Karim Konate, who is their next star. But they are stacked with talent. But the results they have been registering since 2015 are absolutely awful concerning their pedigree and the quality of players that are present in the squad. So that's why I'm not pretty excited by Ivory Coast. They will definitely qualify for the round of 16. either first or two, as said, the head against Algeria will determine. But I'm not very excited at all by them. As you said, they were eliminated by Cameroon. They didn't show anything. So that's why. And concerning Sierra Leone, to give you an idea, I think it will sum up everything. They qualified to AFCON with one win against Benin, and the rest they drew all their game. And what a win it was! It was an absolutely controversial game, and they won it against Benin. So that's why I think Algeria and it would be, I think, if Algeria and Ivory Coast register less than 6 points in this group, I think it would be pretty humiliating, as they are so far away from the two other teams. So even Equatorial Guinea, who are a bunch basically of players who are playing in Spanish lower divisions, So when you compare, there's no comparison possible between Algeria, Ivory Coast, and the two other teams. And the two other teams, I don't even fancy the two other teams. I think they will make a draw or something like this. I don't even fancy those teams, those Sierra Leone, with all my respect for those brother people, but and Equatorial Guinea, I don't even fancy them, to be in the third base place team. They are not very good, honestly. They are not very good at all.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Equatorial Guinea squad right now. And yeah, all their players play in lower divisions, it looks like. They don't have anybody who's in a first division team, I don't think, that I can see. So that's very interesting. I didn't realize that. Let's go to Nuhu next.
Overwhelming favorite Algeria in that group, defending champions, and they've been in some great run. About 37 games unbeaten, if you add the Arab Cup competition to it. So they are just overwhelming. They have the quality. We have Riyad Mahrez, Yusuf Belaili, and still have Said Benrahma and others on the bench. It should tell you the sort of team we are talking about here. Jamal Belmadi has gotten his team going, and Algeria are my first choice favorite to win the African Cup of Nations again. So looking at the group, the only team that can disturb Algeria a bit is Ivory Coast. But the Ivory Coast, very disappointing in the last previous Cup of Nations. After winning in 2015, we've not seen the best of Ivory Coast. Yes, they have the stars, they have the players, but they struggle to get a good team. You were mentioning of the World Cup qualifiers when they played against Cameroon. Yes, on paper they were favorites. They played a very good game, but the approach of the coach in that game saw them lose to Cameroon. So I think Ivory Coast, they always have talent. They always have the stars, but getting a formidable team out of the stars is their problem. If they're able to get a solid team at this tournament, maybe they could go far to the semi-final. But looking at the group, I don't think they can overcome Algeria in this group. So Algeria will top, Ivory Coast will be second. Then maybe we'll add Sierra Leone to it, because Sierra Leone, yes, they are not that convincing. They are minnows in African football, but one thing that always get them going is that when they are playing against West African countries, they have that mindset that this is a derby. Let's go all out. Let's prove a point. That's why some time ago they beat Ivory Coast in Abidjan 3-2 in qualifiers. And in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers, four goals down, they drew 4-4 with Nigeria. So if they're able to get those kind of spirit, I think maybe we can see Sierra Leone beating Equatorial Guinea and then getting 1 point from Ivory Coast or Algeria to sail through. But on paper, everything is tilting Algeria's way. Then Ivory Coast will be second. Then maybe Equatorial Guinea, and then Sierra Leone will share the other positions. Probably their match ending in a draw will make them pick 1 point each.
Perfect. All right, Mo, what do you think?
Yeah, it should be very straightforward. Cote d'Ivoire have been, like the other two said, they've been falling ever since they won the AFCON in 2015. They got grouped in 2017 in a group with Morocco, Congo, and Togo. really just I don't even know how to explain that. And then in 2019, they were all right. They lost to Morocco. It could have been a bit more, if I remember correctly. And then they lost to Algeria on penalties, which I thought was probably their best game in the whole tournament. But yeah, Patrice Baumel, the manager, not very convincing. His whole approach going into that game against Cameroon was all wrong. Set up super defensively, conceded a goal, and now all of a sudden now he needs to push up with all his players playing already very defensive. So yeah, I don't really know about Cote d'Ivoire. Algeria, one of the favorites. Youssef Belaili's playing some. I don't even know how to describe Youssef Belaili. For me, he's their more threatening player. They should top the group. Probably 9 points out of 9. Cote d'Ivoire second. The other two teams in the groups, they're just worlds away. They're not even comparable. So it should be Algeria top, Cote d'Ivoire second, and yeah, both Equatorial Guinea and Sierra Leone probably just out in the group stages.
Aya?
Yeah, I mean, you guys would know that Algeria still puts a little bit of fear in the hearts of Nigerians. We still remember that Mahrez kick from 2019, and that is even more reason why I don't want us to face them in the round of 16, because we'll lose if we face them in the round of 16, honestly. And I don't want us to go out that early. I think they are by far the favorites to win this group. Ivory Coast on paper have a good team. But like the other panelists have said, they tend to disappoint when you expect them to do well. Even against Cameroon in the World Cup qualifiers, I was already thinking, Cameroon were done. And somehow, like Nuhu said, because of the approach of their coach, they lost that game 1-0. So I don't think that, even if they play their best game, I don't think that they can beat Algeria, honestly. So I think Algeria will win the group. But also, I don't believe in the quality of the Sierra Leonean side or the Equatorial Guinean side. Yes, Sierra Leone played against Nigeria. They held us to 2 draws. But I think, honestly, it was more the lack of performance from the Nigerian side than how great they were. They were not fantastic by any means against us. Even when they scored 4 goals, we were just pouring in the second half of that game, honestly. Not to take anything away from them, but Algeria wouldn't have the lack of concentration that Nigeria had, back then. And I don't think Ivory Coast would either. So I would say Algeria would win the group. Ivory Coast finish second. Sierra Leone will probably finish third, and then Equatorial Guinea would be maybe fourth. But yeah, easy for Algeria.
Brandon?
The numbers from our perspective say exactly the same things as pretty much everyone's been saying. Algeria favored, Ivory Coast second. I think Equatorial Guinea, Sierra Leone, we prefer Equatorial Guinea a little bit. But when you think about, those two, and especially with Group D as well, when you're looking at Guinea Bissau and Sudan, we think one of those 4 teams is actually going to make it through, whether it be Guinea Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, or Sierra Leone. Just the way that the numbers work out, we think, Group B is not going to send 3 teams to the round of 16. So we do think that one of those teams, either Sudan, Guinea Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, or Sierra Leone, ends up advancing even to the round of 16. Slightly favor Guinea Bissau ahead of Equatorial Guinea and Sierra Leone. But as far as Group E goes, Algeria, Ivory Coast, to us, those look to be clearly the two best teams in this group.
Perfect. All right. The last and the last group here, Group F. So we've got an interesting group, I think. I'm personally not quite sure what to make of this group. I think I might know, but I'd be very interested to hear what you all say. So Group F consists of Gambia, Mauritania, Tunisia, and Mali. So to me, Tunisia and Mali are the standout teams in this group, but I've seen some people say that Gambia might have something to offer during this tournament. So since Lotfi seems to have a thing for Tunisia, we're going to let him go first. Lotfi, take it away.
Well, I think it's by the way, it's the same group as in 2000. We have been paired in the same group as 2019. Gambia is just replacing Angola, and for the anecdote, Gambia eliminated Angola during the qualifiers. But to put the things in context, but it's a tough group, obviously, because we have Mali. I think Mali are the dark horses of the tournament. Personally, they have been excellent in the World Cup qualifiers. There's talent, those players who shone at the YAF World Cup recently. I think it was in 2015, 2017, and even in 2019. Those players are coming slowly but surely. They are coming to maturity, even though they are much young. There are players also from the diaspora which have been included to them. So I think it's a complicated group. For us, we are just out of a final loss against arch rival Algeria. We have always fared pretty well at AFCON on the recent times. So I think we will qualify even if it's third. But I think it's a tougher group than that it looks like on the paper. And for Gambia for me, they are following the way of, like those teams, Cameroon, not Cameroon, so Comoros, Cape Verde, and finally Guinea Bissau. They are following this way of putting their hands on the talents of their diaspora, because their leagues is inexistent. So they are putting their hands on them, and they have. And what diasporas they have, they have players who are playing in many big leagues. They have plenty players, I think, in Italy. Correct me if I'm wrong. They have Ibrahim Dabo, they have Musa Diawara, they have players like this. Also, they have Abdoulaye Diallo, my favorite, who is playing in Belgium, a pin-sized offensive player that I love very much. They have talents, and they will be far from being pushovers, contrary to certain teams like we talked about previously. And you have Mauritania, who are in a new cycle, because Corentin Martins has been fired after 7 years. I think he was there since 7 years of an excellent work. He qualified them to Chad 2 or 3 times. He qualified them to their first AFCON also. So it's a new era for Mauritania. So it will be interesting to see how they will fare. But I think definitely it will be. I think it's a group for me. I don't know what our great friend Brandon and his numbers said, but I think it's a group for me in which there will be one of the best third place team. I think definitely maybe it will be Gambia. It will be formidable for Gambia, because they are doing some good job. But I think, yes, I hope we'll finish first, obviously, because I don't want to play a big team yet, even though you have to face big teams. So I think, yes, Mali will be very tough. I think our encounter against Mali will be way tougher than what it was in 2019. It was dual in 2019. Let's be honest. It was an abject game of football from both sides, notably ours, obviously. But I think this year it will be very interesting. It will be more interesting, and I hope for me, because I'm a fan of football foremost, and for the fan of football in general, that it will be an interesting battle. Because, as said, for me, Mali, they are the dark horses of AFCON after years, of being a bit, under the radar, because they qualified they snatched 2 bronze medal, I think, in 2013 and in 2012, if I'm not wrong. But now they are back on the front foot, and now they are maybe those weeks for Mali, which are coming, are maybe the most important in the history of Mali, because they will play an AFCON in which they have a chance to make something really good, and they will have this World Cup playoff in which they have a real chance to qualify for their first ever World Cup. So maybe those 2 months, those weeks are probably the most important in the history of Malian football.
Perfect. Yeah, Mali is a very interesting team. And for those of you who are regular listeners to our podcast, you kind of know that I have a hankering for the Nordic leagues. There's actually a couple players on the Mali team. Neither of them have too many caps, but Ismail Diawara is a goalkeeper, plays for Malmo right now. And then also you have Ibrahim Akone, who plays at Sarpsborg, and actually Ibrahim Akone had a pretty decent season in Norway this year. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make some noise during this tournament for them, probably coming off the bench, if I'm being honest. But anyways, Nuhu, what do you think about this group?
Yeah, another tight group, I would say. Yeah, Tunisia are tournament experts. That's how I call them. They are qualification experts. Yes, they don't have big stars in the team, but they always get it done when it comes to qualifications, when it comes to the Africa Cup of Nations group stages. So whether Wabi Kazri's, Naim Siliti, they should be able to advance from this group. But whether they are to top the group will depend on how they will fare against Mali. Mali has improved a lot. Mali, if you compare them to that of 2019, there will be massive improvement. And they are in great form. If you look at the World Cup qualifiers, they didn't concede a single goal in the 6 games they played. That is something remarkable for them. So it means they're having a very good defense. They have a very solid midfield. Ibrahim Akone was scoring for fun during the World Cup qualifiers, and I think he's going to get his scoring boot back at the Cup of Nations. So straight away, I think it should be between Tunisia and Mali. But Gambia, they are never going to be pushovers. They have some interesting players. They have decent players. Ibrahim Adabo, playing for AS Roma. They have Omar Kole, who has been there in Sampdoria for quite some time. I'm very, very experienced. Modubaro, Musabaro, all these players are coming. Alassane Cisse is also scoring for fun for FC Zurich in the Swiss League. They're also having Demba Dabo, who scored 19 goals to win the top scoring award in Belarus. So probably you look at the Gambia team, they have quite some decent players. And the coach, Tom Semfiet, is also very experienced. I know he's going to build a very good team for the Cup of Nations. So if you are facing Gambia, just put in mind that you are facing a top side. But I think with the quality of Mali and Tunisia, they will still be able to beat Gambia. And then Gambia can beat Mauritania and then probably hope that they can qualify as one of the third best placed teams. But I think I will go in for Tunisia first, Mali second, the Gambia third, and the Mauritania last. Mauritania, they are in transition. They recently changed their coach to DJ Gomez da Rosa. They were not convincing enough at the Arab Cup. So I'm not expecting much from Mauritania. So I think they will finish last in this group.
Perfect. Thank you. Ayo.
Yeah, Group F, I would start with my prediction. I think Tunisia would finish top of the group. Mali would finish second, Gambia third, and Mauritania fourth. I think the Tunisian side is a pretty strong one. I think they play well together. I remember even when we played against them in a friendly, we played a 1-1 draw, but they looked better than we did. And also just looking at the Malian side, yes, I hear what Nuhu says about them not conceding any goals in their water qualifying, but I think their group was fairly comfortable for them. Before the water qualifiers, they played 2 friendlies against, I think, Tunisia and I don't remember the other team. Algeria. They lost.
Yeah, they beat Ghana 3-0.
Yeah, they lost to Tunisia and Algeria 1-0, I think, in June, both of them. So they're clearly a good side that doesn't concede many goals. But I think, they also haven't shown that they can punch with the big boys, in Africa in that sense. But I still think, I don't remember who called them the dark horses. I think, yeah, they have potential to be dark horses. But I would pick them second in that group. I like the Tunisian side. Like Nuhu said, Gambia, they have a number of players that are not well known in the football world by global standards, but have some quality, and they have a bunch of players that are playing in Italy as well. I always like to, when I look at other African national teams, I always like to compare them to, I think most African sides have 1 or 2 top world-class maybe players, and we have a bunch of good players across the board. And I think, while Gambia might not have that world-class star like Algeria, Egypt, they have a bunch of good players across the board. And that's why I think, they have potential to do well and most likely finish third in this group and maybe even sneak qualifying spots.
Good. Mo?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the safe bet. Tunisia probably just top the group. Mali, good in recent form. Ibrahim Kone has been really good in qualifying, scoring a couple of really good goals. Amadou Haidara. Now they have Basuma back after 3 years of absence, so it's looking like a really decent side. Gambia, Omar Colley of Sampdoria, Musabara of Bologna, decent players in Serie A. Should definitely at least get third. Definitely will beat Mauritania, who are in a similar pool of like Sudan. Didn't do well in the Arab Cup. Didn't do well in World Cup qualifying. So probably don't expect them to pick up any points as well. But Gambia should be a pretty fun team to watch, I'd say. So they'll probably finish third and probably go through to the knockouts. Mali second and Tunisia first. And I believe if Tunisia top the group, they play Cote d'Ivoire in round of 16. So that should be fun as well.
Perfect. Brandon?
Yeah, agree with a lot of what's been said. I think we still like Tunisia. Mali has been playing really well. But I think we do like Tunisia to top the group. But again, you look at those round of 16 matchups, and if you finish second in this group, you're going to play the second place team from Group B, which, assuming Senegal tops that group, you're looking at either Guinea, Zimbabwe, or Malawi. Not a bad draw if you finish second in this group. So even if Mali, finishes second here, we think it's probably likely that they end up in the quarterfinals and, could make a run. They're definitely a team that could get hot. But yeah, Gambia was our dark horse. IO's looking for a surprise team, and we waited till the very last minute in Group F, but Gambia is that team for us. We think they are going to make it out of the group, finish third likely in the group, but still, we expect them to advance, and it'll be interesting because if they do advance, as a third place team, they're going to play the winner from Group C or Group D, which could end up being Ghana or Nigeria. So Gambia, I think that they could surprise a lot of people. It's their first Africa Cup of Nations. But, as others have said, they're a really talented side. And so I would not be surprised to see Gambia make a run. They're definitely a team that we're looking at to be a bit of a surprise.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all the groups wrapped up. Before we finish the show, I want to go around and get everybody's few things. I want to get your standout player or players of the tournament, maybe two or three players that you think are going to have a standout tournament. And then also who's going to win it, who's your champion. And then, we'll go from there with one final thing. So for me, I'm going to skip the standout player section. I've talked about a few already, but for my champion, I'm actually going to break the mold, and I'm going to say it's going to be Morocco. That's my pick. So with that, let's start with Mo.
Standout players, I'll probably start with Aubameyang of Marseille. He's been really, really good this season. He's been so direct, explosive, really good off the ball movement. He provides so much when he plays as well compared to Crepin Jota, who's injured for the tournament, which could have some positives because Aubameyang is just much more direct, better finisher. And I think it's gonna suit Ali Cisse's 4-2-3-1 a lot better. You said to say two players, right? Two standouts?
Yeah. One or two is good. Yeah.
Probably Yusuf Belali. I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch. I love watching him play, especially for Algeria. I mean, at the Arab Cup, he was almost like Maradona. I mean, he was just so fun to watch. He could be almost any player in a 1v1, dribbling's just sensational. I don't know how he's not playing in Europe. One of the most fun players to watch I've ever seen, to be honest. For champion, I'm gonna be biased. I think we'll win it. I think we do need to improve against the top teams, because we haven't really been tested since that final against Algeria 2 years ago, in which we were really, really bad. Didn't really trouble Algeria at all in that final. But I think with the new players that we have, Abdou Jallo, Mane's form for the national team recently. Gay's form. Koulibaly's back to being one of the best centre backs in the world at the moment. Edouard Mendy in goal. We have the tools there. We have a new formation that's proving to actually help us score goals now. We're scoring a lot more goals than we were before. Except for that Togo game. And that Togo game was really, really bad. But we should go through. I mean, we should win the tournament, really, if we're being really honest. Algeria will be the toughest out of all of them, and it's probably likely it's going to be another Senegal-Algeria final, judging by how the bracket worked out. So, yeah, I think we'll win it. I think I'm going to be a little optimistic and say that finally we're going to win an AFCON.
There we go. Mo for Senegal. Okay. Ayo, what do you think? Give me one or two standout players from the tournament, and then who's your overall champion?
So standout players. Okay. The first, I'll pick one from the Nigerian team, and then I guess I'll pick one from the other national sides. From the Nigerian team, if we are going to make any kind of impact at the AFCON, then Victor Osimhen will be key for us. So I think Osimhen has the highest chance of being Nigeria's standout player. And then across the board, looking at all the other national teams, it's a really tough one. But I'll probably go. I haven't thought about this before. Sorry, guys. I'll probably go maybe Sadio Mane or Edouard Mendy. And my pick for the champion is Senegal as well. I personally like the Senegalese side. My head tells me Algeria is probably a better team, but I prefer the Senegalese players, especially because of Mendy. So it would be nice to see them win. I think they have quality across the board. They're on paper, and even the way they play as a team, they're one of the better African sides. And like Mo said earlier, the draw, the bracket, kind of works out nice enough that they can progress. Should they not be their own, biggest problem or things like that. So yeah, I would pick Senegal to win the AFCON, unfortunately.
Fair enough. And it looks like we just lost Nuhu, which no worries there. So let's go over to Lotfi.
Well, I would say for the standout players, I would say Victor, if he plays, obviously, because he's in a rich vein form, he's the man. I think Nigeria will rely on mostly. I think if he's in form, Nigeria will go far. And I would say also Youssef Belaili, who is such an excellent player to watch with his national team. As said Mo, he's an excellent player, so I fancy him to start to do very well at the AFCON, even if Algeria go all the way. And for the champion, I think personally, at the final, I fancy an Algeria-Senegal remake. I wouldn't be surprised if it's possible with the brackets, but I fancy Algeria to retain their crown again, because they are in a such run of confidence. They are even in the quality, and they have much quality. So I think they will win definitely, even though there are some doubts, because they were troubled very much by Burkina Faso in that last match decider in I think it was in Blida. They were troubled, but overall I think Algeria, they are more experience. Their players are in their top ages. They are in their best years. They are just out of a triumph, an Arab Cup triumph. They're on their winning strike, etc. So I think definitely Algeria for me are the favorites to retain their crown and to make it 3 stars over their crest.
Perfect. All right. And last but certainly not least, Nuhu, can you give me one or two standout players, and then who do you think is going to win it?
Algeria are my overwhelming favorites. I think they have everything to defend the title. So I'm going for Algeria. 37 games unbeaten, top form. They are beating every team they face on the continent. And they are also coming with full of confidence. They won the Arab Cup, going unbeaten in that tournament as well. So I'm looking at the sort of form they are in. I think Algeria are favorite. Riyad Mahrez is going to be very key if Algeria should win the Cup of Nations again. Riyad Mahrez is going to be crucial. Aside Riyad Mahrez, I think Yusuf Belaili, Mo mentioned his name. He's also one of the exciting players you will love to watch. He was best player. He was almost one of the best players at the Arab Cup. So Yusuf Belaili is also in there. And I want to see Ibrahim Akone getting the goals for Mali. So Ibrahim Akone is also one of the players to watch. If he's able to get his boots, I think he's going to make the Cup of Nations a fun.
Perfect. That's awesome. So it looks like we've got 2 for Senegal and 2 for Algeria. So Brandon, are you going to break the tie?
I am going to break the tie, but interestingly, our numbers and what I actually myself think are going to happen are actually 2 different things. So the numbers from, our rankings say Algeria, that Algeria is going to repeat. But one of the things that we have not really discussed is really just, and, Mo had alluded to it a bit, is really how that bracket sets up with the groups and where teams are going to end up once they get out of the group. And, Algeria, they're going to have a tough path. They could end up, having, if they win the group, they're going to either play Nigeria or Egypt immediately, most likely. They then have to get through either Ghana or Morocco in the quarterfinals, and then likely they could end up against Cameroon in the semifinals in Cameroon. So even to get to the final for Algeria, they're going to have to go through what we've been talking about with pretty much with the exception of Senegal's really the best teams in this tournament. So the numbers still say Algeria is the best team and is going to make it through. But me personally, I like the way it sets up for Senegal. And so I'm going to pick Senegal to win. I would like to see Sadio Mane take over. He's done well in tournaments. I want to see him just be the star, the standout of the tournament. So I'm going to go with Senegal. I'm going to go against the numbers, unfortunately, but I'll go with Senegal as my champion to break that tie.
Perfect. All right. Well, there you.
Can I say something, Joe?
Yes.
I love hearing the numbers guy go against the numbers.
He doesn't do it very often, so that's a rare occurrence.
I don't. Hopefully, at least one of the 2 are correct.
There you go. Oh, that's perfect. Well, guys, we cannot thank you enough for joining us. Real quick, I just want to go around to everybody and I want you to give an opportunity to promote yourselves and where people can find you and your work. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with Lotfi.
You can find me on Twitter at Lotfi Wada, and logically there should be some articles I will write, and I will be on TV, etc., during the AFCON, God willing, and much podcasts, logically, hopefully.
Perfect. Nuhu?
Yes, as you mentioned, Nuhu Adams _ on Twitter, on Instagram, and on other social networks. On Facebook, it's Nuhu Adams Journalist. Yeah, so you should find me there.
Are you actually going to go to the tournament or no?
I'll be in Cameroon, but when Ghana get to the quarterfinals or semifinals, I'll be there.
There we go. All right, good stuff, Mo.
You can just find me at Senegal Football English on Twitter. That's about it.
Perfect. And Ayo.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Eagles Tracker NG for the best social media coverage of the Super Eagles and at the AFCON and Nigerian players in general. Yeah.
Perfect. You can find me on Twitter at 12th Yank. And Brandon, where can they find you?
Also on Twitter at we_global. We also have our website, weglobalfootball.com, predictions for every match, rankings, spreadsheets if you're into that sort of thing. We've got everything covered for this tournament, all tournaments. So either Twitter or the website, you can find us.
Perfect. Well, we hope everybody enjoys the tournament. Hopefully this has been a helpful preview. I think there's been some really great insights here. So with that, we will say farewell and enjoy the African Cup of Nations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.